Well, this is for another discussion.
Yeah.
We've kind of moved away from abortion. But yeah, I think we came to understand our perspectives. We agree to disagree. We have reached some kind of rough consensus. And last question from me is, what do you say to people who think it's impossible to talk about abortion, who stay away from that conversation? And why is it so difficult? I feel like we've had a joyful, fun conversation. You're laughing.
I don't know about fun, but it was definitely pleasant.
Yeah,
and
we learned from each other.
Civil.
Yeah,
and that's important. And I think that the people have a hard time having these discussions because it is a highly emotional issue, and anytime there's a disagreement about basic values, it's going to be highly emotional, and there's going to be a lot of anger directed toward the other party. And the thing to say is not, we should never pay attention to our emotions. The thing to say is, it's important to think about where your emotions are coming from. And I mean, I think your feelings come from your basic values. They come from your worldview. And part of the reason this is such a fraught issue is because there is a basic clash of worldviews here that people have. And some people are able to, some people appreciate that there's a diversity of views and that not everybody shares their worldview. And when that happens, when they are used to the fact that people disagree with them, then they're able to have a civil discussion like I think we've had. Not everybody has that same appreciation, has been exposed to that range of worldviews, is shocked to find out that someone has a different one, and then can only be angry with them. So that's I think that's something to avoid.
Yeah, and I think that we do need to talk to each other. I think that when we stop talking to each other, I believe that that's how our country gets weakened. And I believe that a lot of people want us not to talk to each other. And it's important that we do, and that we hear each other's concerns. And sometimes we both have legitimate, concerns. And, just because I don't agree with you, I could see your perspective, and
I can tolerate you.
Yeah, I see why you feel that way, and you have a legitimate concern. And I think that it's important for us to hear each other, whether we agree to disagree. But what's happening today is that people just don't want to talk to each other. And that is a problem, in my opinion. And that is the goal of a lot of people. Let's keep them away from each other. Let's not allow them to talk to each other. And that hurts us all on both sides. And I've had conversations with people on both sides. And in South Texas is a little different because South Texas is very conservative, regardless of politics. That's what's very interesting, regardless of politics. And some may say, don't talk to them because they vote a certain way. It's crazy to me. It's like, what? That just doesn't go with me. But I was in the medical field. So in the medical field, you don't care about people's politics. You don't care about people's views, religion. You just care for people. You just want them to be well, and you fight for their life no matter what. And it allowed me to see people for who they are as human beings and not care about their political views or their religion, So I try my best to see people I talk to in the medical eye. Just think of him or her as your patient.
Yeah, human being.
As a human being, and be respectful, be mindful. And I walk every day with that vision. Today you're a respiratory care practitioner. Think of that. And honestly, it's allowed me to have conversations with people I don't agree with, but I respect very much. Like yourself, I respect you, and I respect everything that you stand for, and that's the beauty of this country.
Maybe part of the reason why all these podcasters are coming to Austin is the same reason that I came here, or at least big part of the reason that I moved here is because It's an interesting place. It's a very, very blue town surrounded by a sea of red. And I live in the suburbs where it's purple. And so I kind of feel like Austinites and Texans living close to Austin at least have gotten used to disagreement in a way that the rest of the country maybe hasn't. I mean, you don't have this in Berkeley or something like that where it's everything's blue. There's some real disagreement here, and people are learning to live with each other in spite of that. And so that's probably why there's a lot of really interesting conversations to be had here. So I encourage you to keep having them.
Yeah. We have to spread this to the rest of the U.S., right?
Absolutely.
No, this is so important. I love it. And Mayra, you said it best. We have to look at each other as human beings.
Yeah.
It's not just the Biden supporter or the Trump supporter. We're all human beings with our own stories.
Yep.
And let's listen to each other.
You know, women, men, fathers, mothers, daughters, sisters, friends. Like, we all have our own story. And don't judge someone because of their political views, or don't judge someone because of their religion view. Don't judge a book's by a cover, right? Yeah, and that's what I live off of. Yeah. But again, thank you for having us.
Thank you both. It was a great discussion.
Yes.